Hey everybody, this is Miss Neely here. I hope everyone from my class is joining and hopefully a couple other friends. Today we are making peanut butter cookies and it only takes 3 ingredients. Since we are cooking, the very first thing you need to do is wash your hands. So I already did that, spent 20 seconds scrubbing my hands, dried them off, and now we are about to start making our peanut butter cookies. So the first thing you're going to need is a cup of peanut butter, which I've already done and put into my bowl, and then you need a cup of sugar. Well, you notice you already used your cup for peanut butter and it's super sticky. So I used my half cup for my sugar, and I decided to use brown sugar. You can use regular sugar, it's up to you. And so in here I have 2 half cups to make my whole cup and my 1 whole cup of peanut butter. The very last thing that I'm going to add is 1 large egg. So you're gonna take 1 egg, be very careful to crack it on the side and make sure that it is not going to get eggshell into your cookies. The other thing I almost forgot to tell you is that you need to make sure that you prep the oven beforehand. So this recipe calls for you to bake it at 325. So my oven just got to heat at 325. So there's that. Then the next step of your process is to mix all your ingredients. So I'm going to take a whisk. It's going to be hard. That peanut butter is super sticky. So if you try the whisk and it ends up clumping up, which it is for Miss Neely, notice the clumps, you can use a spoon instead. So I'm gonna get all that out of there and mix it all up into my bowl. And bear with me, guys, this is my first YouTube video. I know some of my students are over there laughing at me, and that's okay, because what is my one rule? We all make mistakes, and that's proof we are trying. So the biggest thing when you're mixing all this up, please just make sure it is all mixed thoroughly. So make sure you scrape the bottom, make sure you scrape the sides, get all of that mixed up. Once you have it mixed nice and good, then you're going to get a cookie tray. I'm going to use my cooking stone. I prefer my stone over my cookie tray, and plop some cookie amounts in there. So if you give me just a second, I'll come back and we will do that. We're back. We're going to be putting our cookies onto our tray. Since they are peanut butter cookies, you're going to put a nice blob on there, but you're also going to need a fork to add the pattern of a peanut butter cookie. This recipe calls for about a dozen cookies. I like mine a little bit bigger, so it's probably only going to make a half a dozen, but it's totally up to you at home. My circles are never perfect. A lot of people make fun of my cookies because they're not perfectly circular, but that's okay. It's all about the taste, right? So keep blobbing them on there. And when you're all done, what you're going to do is you're going to get a fork and you are going to put horizontal and vertical lines. If you remember from class, horizontal means side to side, vertical means up and down. So you're going to do horizontal and vertical lines on these cookies. Okay, so get your forks out if you don't have them already. Miss Neely's scooping out the last couple cookies here. And then I will show you what I mean by horizontal and vertical lines. All right. So like I said, I'm only making 9. It says it's supposed to make 12, but I like bigger cookies. So I'm going to take one of my forks, and with your fork, you're going to ever so carefully, make sure it's lined up here, put an indent here that way, and this way. Notice it's really sticky, so if it's too sticky, you can always put a little bit of flour on the fork, and that will help it from sticking too much, and you can put those lines in. So I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to get some flour, and then we'll be ready to put them in the oven. Okay, so I have finished putting my lines in my cookies. They're hard to see now, but they'll be seen better after they've been cooked. As you notice, I had to use a little bit of flour to make sure that that fork wasn't sticking, but that's totally fine. That's all you need to do. When I put it in, the recipe calls for only about 12 minutes. However, some comments that people who've already made it said they baked them for 20. So I'm gonna start by putting it in for 12, and then we'll touch base after those 12 minutes.
Few moments later.
We are back. It has been 12 minutes and our cookies aren't quite ready. They're still kind of gooey, which I expected just because of the comments on the recipe, as well as I like to make mine bigger. So since we put it in for 12, I'm going to put it in for another 8 because they're still super, super gooey, and we'll come back after. Everybody, the cookies are now done. They ended up cooking for a little over 20 minutes. I'd say about 23 to 25 minutes, but mine were bigger. So if you make them smaller, probably closer to 20 minutes. This is how they turned out. They're going to be still kind of soft when you pull them out. You want to make sure they're a little soft when you pull them out because they cook a little bit longer on the sheet. If you pull them out and they're already hard, they're going to get extra hard later. So I made sure they're just a little bit soft. But here are our peanut butter cookies. Hopefully yours tastes super duper yummy. I'm excited to try mine. And be sure to watch the next video. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.